Today is Friday, Parashat Bereshit, the first parasha in the Torah. In this parasha, Hashem creates the world. He creates man in his image and endows him with the ability to do so much, the capacity to rule over animal and plant life, to use his surroundings. And he gives him the ability to have the freedom of choice, to choose between doing good and bad. And there's incredible potential to reach, as the ladder in the dream of Yaakov Avinu, with its feet planted on the ground and the head can reach to the sky. Also a person has the ability to reach very high up, all the way towards the heavenly spheres. Yet, with the balanced freedom of choice between good and bad, there are pitfalls. And there's an episode in the parasha of this week, the first parasha in the Torah, of Kayin and Hevel, the first siblings in the world, in humanity. And unfortunately, it's a very sad episode where Kayin kills his brother Hevel. What happened? Well, they brought offerings to Hashem. Kayin brought from leftover flax seeds, and Hevel chose from the finest of his flock, from the lamb, a lamb from the finest of his flock. That's something of very important that he brought as an offering. Hashem turned towards Hevel's offering, and Kain's offering was basically ignored. Kain is very upset. And Hashem asks him, why are you upset? How come you're angry? Well, it should be obvious. His offering was not accepted. That's a reason for being disappointed. Well, the question is not just why you're disappointed, but rather, what is the motivation for your upset? Is it the fact that your offering was not accepted, and now for the future you're going to try to improve, to do better? Or are you upset because someone else, your brother, was favored? And maybe in an envious competitiveness, you feel that you've been bested by somebody else, and it's jealousy rather than the desire to do better in the future. Jealousy is horrible. It's the root of so much evil. And we see it, whether it's Adam's children, Kayin and Hevel, or later Yaakov and Esav, Yosef and his brothers, on and on. Many stories brought in the Navim, the prophets, where jealousy is the source of so much evil. Well, there are two mitzvot in the Torah, in the book of Vayikra, which are right next to each other. The question is asked, what's the connection? One mitzvah is Ve'afta l'reacha kamocha. You shall love your neighbor just as yourself. It's a very important mitzvah in the Torah that has to do between man and his fellow man. The other mitzvah that comes in the pasuk right after that is not to wear shatnez, not to wear a mixture of linen and wool together. And that's definitely a mitzvah between man and Hashem, and Adam lamakom. It would seem to be no connection between the two. But Pirkei de Rabbi Eliezer points out a very interesting idea here. Wool and linen are reminiscent of Kayin and Hevel. Hevel brought a lamb from where we get the wool, and Kayin brought flax seeds from which we make linen. We make linen from the flax plant. And therefore, as the mitzvah that precedes this tells us about the importance, or the mitzvah of loving your neighbor as yourself, which means being happy for his successes, thinking as if something good had happened to you, you'd be happy. That way, something good happened to your fellow, you'll be happy for him. The next mitzvah of not wearing shatnez is reminiscent of the exact opposite. When Kayin, which by the way, the word Kayin is related in Hebrew to the word kin'ah, which means jealousy, where Kayin was overtaken by jealousy to the point of doing the ultimate thing of murdering his brother. So, as we think of the idea of loving your neighbor as yourself, be careful with the pitfalls of jealousy. And we live in a society that is very competitive. There are many situations in business, in sports, in civic leadership, in families, in school, etc. Many, many situations where there is a certain aspect of competition. People compete with each other. And there are situations where somebody would do better than you. You may be disappointed. It's okay, it's normal. The question is, the disappointment something that is going to move you to do better? While being very careful not to come to the point of being envious and jealous and coveting whatever the success of your fellow or of your neighbor is. That's a very fine line, and it's something to think about and to remember as one of the lessons from the parasha of this week, as we make choices, as we do have emotions as humans, to make sure that we always think that we want to do better, there is always to improve, and when somebody else succeeds, be happy for them. Shabbat Shalom, Baruch Adonai Le'olam, Amen ve'amen.